Bitcoin at support, Ethereum at support, liquidations flying left and right, longs getting wrecked, shorts getting wrecked. I love this space. It looks like I'm crying because I've got contacts in and I'm re-wetting my eye drops. A huge short position was just claimed on BitMEX, causing them to go into unscheduled maintenance. Did the Tether printer run out of ink? Let's find out. Let's get cracking, guys, in today's exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Welcome to Breaking Bitcoin, recorded live in the studio Thursday, July 11th, 2019, final year of our Lord, your daily source for market updates, sentiment, and news for traders, wherever you happen to fall into the spectrum. I'm your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at KrakenCryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic, whether you happen to be tuning in from across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or on Roku at the Investor News channel. If you want to support the show, make sure to subscribe, follow, share, and engage in the live chat, and hit those thumbs up buttons. We've got a fantastic show for you guys today, but before we begin, today's episode is brought to you by us. If you are tired of Telegram groups leaving you holding the bag and you want to trade with serious, professional, no-nonsense individuals, then you can go over to premium.KrakenCryptocurrency.com and see everything that our trading group can do for you. Our education, which we do focus on education, focuses on technical strategy, risk management, position sizing, capital allocation and growth, hedging, statistical analysis, automation, lifestyle coaching, emotional discipline, and much more. Signals and setups provided by our team of analysts every single day, as well as personal mentoring. If that sounds like it would be a good fit for you, then head over to premium.KrakenCryptocurrency.com and help us boost your skills to the next level. So, yesterday's crypto comment giveaway winner was, of course, Philip Carr from Manchester Mint. Big shout out to you, Philip Carr. So happy you won the giveaway. Thank you so much for donating that $150 to the Water Project, by the way. On behalf of Kraken Cryptocurrency, we highly appreciate that. Again, I'm not going to beat a dead drum, but make sure if you guys are anti-taxation, if you guys are anti-socialized money like I am, that you are putting your money where your mouth is and actually giving some charity back out to the community and making the world a better place. Don't just hoard it all for yourself. Okay, now, moving right along. I want to thank the current Discord Nitro boosters. And if you guys want to help support our server and you have Discord Nitro, you can head over to discord.KrakenCryptocurrency.com and make the Discord server better for everybody. We highly appreciate that. We got a special role for you if you do so, as well as a shout out on the show. Now, some premium trading group updates real quick. Of course, it's a little too early. It's only Thursday, but we're going to do the VIP Ask Me Anything on Monday, the following Monday, not Sunday like we normally do. I made some updates to the Advanced Trading Journal and Position Size Calculator. Made an update to the Average Cost Calculator inside that as well. And of course, me and Jonathan have put a lot of work into the next version of the Trading Journal and Position Size Calculator. It does a lot of the stuff that we were doing manually now automatically. It makes our workflow much smoother, much simpler, much cleaner. And you guys in the group know how for about 30 minutes a day, we're go, 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 go. So anything we can do to optimize that workflow dramatically increases our results as a trader, gives us a better entry, all of that kind of stuff. So anyways, guys, let's see. Hopefully my vision doesn't get blurry whatsoever today. Scott, good to see you in the chat, man. We've got Theo C. Good evening from Sweden. Good afternoon from America. I'm pumped up today, guys. It's a fantastic day. It's really, really good. Not only did I do very, very well over the evening with my trades, just feeling really good. I got the reverse osmosis installed today. I'm in the full swing of keto, and I just got over that couple days of the keto flu, so I just feel absolutely fantastic. So we're going to get right into it. Without further ado, we're going to start off today's show, as we always do, by giving away some crypto. So let's do some quick readjustments. Get the restream chat right here. Pop this baby on out. And get my notifications up here. Mal, thank you so much for the follow, my good friend. And Ann Zabalos, thanks so much for the subscription over there on YouTube. Okay, let's grab the URL from yesterday's video. And head over into the live scene as we do. Hey, Sandre, it's been a while since I've seen you. Hopefully you're doing well. All right, yesterday's video, Bitcoin, buy the dip opportunity, or will the New York Attorney General's office and Bitfinex end this bull run? If you didn't get a chance, go watch that video. It was a really good one. Also, the intro is kind of funny because I biffed it a little bit. So, you know, you'll have that. All right, popping this in, loading the comments. 20 potential winners. Hopefully none of them is a bot, but best of luck to all of you. Randomly pick a winner. Crypto Caveman. Hey, what's going on, man? From the CA up there, my northern neighbor. Thank you so much for participating. He says, thanks for the wisdom bombs, Mr. Satoshi Wise. Well, it's Justin, but thank you so much, man. Highly appreciated. You know the drill. Get a hold of me in Discord, Justin Wise, hashtag 5696, and I will tip you some crypto, man. And if you guys would like to participate, it's pretty simple. Leave a comment at the end of the video with your thoughts, opinions, concerns, and or death threats. Although death threats will not get you a random crypto comment giveaway. I'll get you something else, but not a crypto comment giveaway. So, Ben J. Carpio, what's going on, my good man? Let's get over into the live scene. All right. So, let's break this all down. And we'll get into the 4 hour and we'll look at active positions that have been put on when we get to them. Of course, the guys in the group know how we... is that weird? Okay, good. It just looked weird to me. Of course, the guys in the group know what's up. And activity feed. Okay, good. I think everything's good. Michael Weston, what's going on, my man, over there on YouTube? This market, though, Midwest attempts. You're killing it over there with PTP on the 4 hour, though. 1 hour, 2 hour. Really crushing those alt BTC trades. Shout out to you, man. Okay, let's get down to Bitcoin analysis and trading strategies. So where are we at on the daily? All right, price wicking down to our tertiary baseline. We talked about the significance of the tertiary baseline. We also talked about my previous backtesting attempts using the tertiary as the primary. And we've talked a little bit about this stream, about the relationship between the primary baseline and the secondary baseline. So very simply, we'll start off on the daily and start moving down to the lower time frames. It was actually the position that I took on the 4 hour with XBT and ETH that actually in one evening, so I'm in a very good mood because the first week of July was a drawdown week for me, was the worst week that I've had as a trader and in the group that we've had as a group in about, I want to say 9 months. All right. Just a bad first week. A lot of alt BTC trades gave bad signals, false signals. It happens sometimes. You're always going to get into a losing streak when you're a trader. And having been on a winning streak for the last 9 months, it's going to happen eventually. Right. And that's not to say that, you know, there weren't brief losing spells or successive series of trades. You guys can go do the hit loss ratio yourself. But what's important to understand is that you have to do P&L calculations. So the first week of July took a lot of alt Bitcoin trades that got stopped out or that we ended up exiting early. Okay. And that happened. So it was a losing streak, however you want to cut it. Right. And it is important to maintain your emotional discipline and your trading discipline during such a period, because it is in those moments when you are faced with adversity, when how you respond back to the market, how you maintain your composure, how you maintain your discipline is really going to determine whether you are going to be a profitable, successful trader in the long run, or whether you are going to do something unfortunate, make a mistake and blow out your account. And now you are out of the game until you refinance, but you probably won't learn from the lesson. Hopefully you will. But that is just the sad, washout lane that most traders end up going down. They end up losing money. And it is that moment when they're faced with, okay, I lost money. Let's reevaluate my strategy. Let's take a step back and let's just keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing. That is not what most of them do. Most of them get panicked, get mad, get afraid, get upset. They over leverage. They take on too much risk. They feel they have to immediately win it back, and they end up making mistakes. And then they lose even more, generally all of it. And that is how traders are born and die. That's how it happens, right? Almost every situation, almost every example, I've seen traders rage quit. It's because they've lost money and they walk away from the market, okay? And they don't put in the time necessary to just finish things out to their logical conclusion, get a statistical data set, keep a trading journal, focus on their discipline, focus on their strategy, and actually build something that works long term. Unfortunately, most of them just don't do that. Most traders do not put in the work that is necessary to deserve success, right? Most traders want to gamble. This is not a space for gamblers. Trading is not gambling. Trading is determining a statistical edge and hammering it over and over and over again with discipline, patience, and confidence. That's it. If you don't have an edge, you're not going to make money. If you don't have emotional discipline, you're not going to be able to handle the downtime, the drawdowns very well. So again, maintaining composure, doing the exact same thing. I've come on live. I've come live on the air every single time. There is one factor, I guess, that helps it out from a USD perspective, even though on a ROI perspective, if you actually look at the the unaveraged ROI numbers, which is live on currentresults.krakencryptocurrency.com, you'll say, oh man, that's a bad week for you. Fuck yeah, it was a bad week. Unquestionably it was. But because almost all the bad trades weren't alt BTC pairs, because those were adjusted risk positions, that's something that we talk about in the group. 3 different styles of risk: full risk, adjusted risk, and combined risk. So we have different position sizing strategies and different scenarios where we're going to apply those strategies and to apply those nuances to our position sizing. As I've talked about many times on the show, discretionary position sizing is the key to victory. From a USD perspective, the drawdown wasn't really that much because we're taking alt to BTC pairs. So the underlying base currency is in BTC, which is appreciating. So the actual dollar value lost was really not that significant, right? So instead of what might look on paper like a 10 to 15% loss of your account, is more like anywhere from 2 to 6, right? It just depends on what trades you took larger risk on, what trades you did not. And every trader is going to have a little bit of a different nuance to that. And all that's going to be revealed by your trading journal. So, but it still sucks. It still sucks, right? When you have a bad drawdown week. But zooming down to the 4-hour chart yesterday, posting some signals out and taking obviously trades myself, I was able to make all of that back plus some. So I'm in the green now for July, and things are proceeding quite well from USD P&L. I'm just kind of psyched about that, just kind of pumped about that. Had a few trades that just went absolutely fantastic, and we're going to break that down and talk about that here, and as well as what we're going to be doing next, what I'm going to be doing next, and you guys can obviously make your own decisions based off of that. I always advise you and exhort you to do your own research and make sure you are making your own trading decisions. Come here for advice, guidance, and the memes and the laughs, guys. I'm not here to tell you what to do. All right, so Bitcoin on the daily, finding support on the daily baseline and finding low support, so wicking resistance right off of our tertiary baseline, wicked all the way down to the 21 EMA and closing, looking like it's going to close above the daily baseline. So what is this setup? Obviously, it sets up a reversal baseline bounce trade to the upside, right? Reversal baseline bounce to the upside trade. I would use, again, a custom ATR value, or I'd go down to lower timeframes on this initial position until we get a stronger signal to go to the upside, right? Or again, if you're going to use the traditional take profit that we would normally use, it would be one ATR value above the baseline, right? And again, you want to customize that ATR value because we have a lot of volatility coming in here. So I would use the ATR value of at least the candle off the 25th of June. Right? So that's going to be clocking in around like 545, I believe. Let's double check. If you're taking a daily trade, Kudrigo ATR. These contacts are not as clear as my glasses. I apologize. Yeah, 545, 547, split the baby, whatever you want to do. Okay, so let's take Kudrigo off. So that is kind of the daily setup. Obviously, closing back down below the baseline. As we can see, Wada Atar is printing a red column. And, something to watch. I've talked about CCI for quite a while. Commodity Channel Index is an absolutely fantastic trending indicator when used appropriately. It is a terrible reversal indicator, as most reversal indicators are. They do not give you very good signals in the long run. And it is a strategy. Reversal trading is a strategy that is fraught with peril, no matter how you want to do it, man. Thank you, Randall. Highly appreciate it, my good man. Michael Weston, just in time, man. Who knew? What's going on, man? Tom Crypto Newbie, thank you so much, man. Sandra, you're saying you're not doing as good as you did when you were in our group. Hey, man, we're open anytime you want to come back, brother. Hit me up. Let's get the biddy. All right, man, let's get it. Okay, I'll keep preaching it, Randall. So something to definitely keep your eye on, in my opinion, is Commodity Channel Index on the daily, right? Default settings work just fine. You can fine tune it if you want. Maybe it's going to be slightly different if you're looking at this is the Coinbase chart. So maybe a little different if you're looking at the Bitfinex chart with their tether machine over there, or maybe you're looking at the BitMEX chart, or maybe you're looking at Kraken, wherever you happen to be trading, right? I find the Coinbase is going to be one of the best spot, reference, or excuse me, this is the Bitstamp chart. Take everything I back. Coinbase and Bitstamp are pretty much going to be your reference exchanges, right? Coinbase with a little bit of additional nuance, but again, the arbitrage and movements of coins and liquidity on exchanges is there's not a wild deviation in price, right? Obviously, we know all about. I'll put the pen down. I'm sorry, Scott. I know I shouldn't have the pen in my hand because I click it and then everybody gets pissed off. I know that obviously we have the tether premium. And, on Bitfinex, and that kind of went away for a while, and then it's like come back to a certain degree, but blah, blah, blah. I don't trade on Bitfinex. You wouldn't catch me dead on Bitfinex, but we're going to talk a lot about Bitfinex later on because they're just so fun take shots at, right? Because they do so much fuckery, right? And I apologize. Shouldn't cuss during the first hour, especially when we're on Roku. Should be a family-friendly show. Kick the alts out, especially ZERP. Yay, yay. Bitcoin forever. Long Beach crypto. I feel you, man. I am a Bitcoin maximalist, but I do trade altcoins because there is profit to be made occasionally. So definitely keep your eye on commodity channel index. If we get a daily close below the baseline and commodity channel index goes below the zero line, I really do think that, I mean, you definitely want to be in a 1x short position or be flat, just be out of the market, if not be taking on a full risk position, if the rest of your system is giving you the go ahead. I think CCI is really, really good. Now, Minx, again, is not there yet. Minx is a little less sensitive than CCI. So Minx is going to lag behind because Minx tends to give us better signals. So, you know, when Minx confirms, you could look to maybe take a small position when CCI goes below and then add to that when Minx gives the go ahead, right? That's one way to look at it. Of course, it's going to depend on what your PTP structure is, what your trading system is. Again, now, what I'm really watching for here is to see if price, you know, again, the trade right now is probably the reversal baseline bounce, right? Is the reversal baseline bounce. Okay, that's not actually the trade that I put on. I actually took a little bit of a different trade today. I took a bit of a short trade earlier and already took some initial profit off that, so stop loss at break even on that. And then I've got an entry a little higher, and we'll kind of break that down and why that entry is where it is. And then for Ethereum, I actually took Ethereum to the upside, right, on a lower time frame, right? So I already, and then that trade's doing pretty well. So let's move over here to the daily. On the daily, the signals that we're getting is not a clear PTP signal one way or the other. The trades are either the reversal baseline bounce off the daily baseline or the tertiary baseline. If you had a limit order at the tertiary baseline, you're in good profit right now. You're up about, what do I want to say, 4%? Yeah, about 5%, actually, 5%. I'd take your profit off the table, man, because you did a very, very good thing. Don't be greedy. Take the 5, move on, wait, go flat and chill, right? This is a moment where if you don't know what to do, you should be flat, right? You should be flat. But I mean, from the daily perspective, the trade there is the reversal baseline bounce. However, the question you're always going to ask yourself is, you know, was this the reversal baseline bounce trade? Most likely it was. Most likely that was the reversal baseline bounce trade. Tom, Crypto Newbie says, I started trading on ByBit. Thrilling experience. Need to master how to trade like a pro. Hey, man, don't go over 5x leverage. Start with 3x. And really, the leverage doesn't matter. Just use a smaller position size, man. Like when you're just starting out, and I don't, you know, the way that I train our students is not to actually do the, like, in my opinion, lame, you know, only put 5-10% of your account at risk at any time, meaning put it into a trade. Well, that's not the same thing. People hear that and just putting the pen down. People here don't put more than 5 or 10% of your account at risk, and they think that that means invest 5 to 10% of your account per trade. That's not the same thing, because 5 to 10% of your account isn't at risk because you're going to have a stop loss. So wherever your stop loss is, that is actually the amount that you risk. Now, you never want to risk more than 3% of your account per trade, but that can often mean that you put on a position size that's half of your account. It all depends on where your stop loss is. But for you, I would say if you got $1,000 on there and you're just dealing with a new exchange, only be putting on like $50 to $100, man. Like just spend a month, get used to it, understand the system, don't rush into it. We've got years and years and years of trading crypto, man. You're not losing out on nothing if you take the time to master the system. Now, so that's the trade on the daily. Let's go down to the 12-hour. 12-hour is interesting as well because we did end up closing below the tertiary baseline, got that little bit of a bounce rejection from the primary baseline right now, and looking like we're going to close below the primary baseline. A lot of this stuff does signal the trade to the downside. We are getting a confirmed short signal on the 12-hour. Okay, we're below the primary baseline. We're below the tertiary baseline. Makes the signaling a short. Wadatar explosion is giving us an explosion bar. And our risk, our R to R here is quite small because, again, our distance to close above the stop loss or to close above the baseline is really, really close. We're only 2% away from the baseline. So I'd say that that's good R to R. And now going down to the 4-hour, which really is responsible, I'll be honest, just completely upfront with you. The 4-hour chart, you know, really brought the month of July into clarity for me. I took it was a PTP trade. I took the PTP trade. I listened. I did something that I don't normally do by trading on the lower time frames. But again, I have the leisure and experience to do that because I basically sit in front of my computer all day. Now, I'm normally not just trading all day. I'm normally researching, studying, writing code, working on strategies, back testing, mentoring individuals, shooting videos. But in this case, yesterday was an exciting day, man. You want to be sitting and waiting and watching. Now, if you're unconfident as a trader, then sometimes the high volatility days are days where you want to stay away. High volatility days are great when you know what you're doing and you have a strategy and a system that you are confident that works. But if you are just getting whipsawed around, you just want to stay away from the market in periods of high volatility. Come in when it's nice and safe, enter into consolidation, have a reasonable stop loss, wait for a breakout or a breakdown. Either you're right or you're wrong. No time to dally around. Under 12 years left. What are you talking about? Moonshine Fuel, 11.7 is very strong still. Trend line looks good to me. Weak hands will shake out. I've rode BTC all the way from 1,800 to 20,000 back to 3,200, then bought some more. Never shakes me out. I just buy. From an investment standpoint, that's exactly the right thing to do, man. That's exactly the right thing to do. And for my long-term investment in Bitcoin, I've been investing in Bitcoin since March of 2016. And I've never sold that Bitcoin. So, but there's a difference for me. There's investment and then there's trading. So my trading capital measured in dollars, that is there to provide me an active source of income and to provide money for me to inject into my investment, right? Do I need a VPN to use 3 commas with my Binance account? So no. Now, again, I'm not an expert, but I use 3 commas and my MEX account is linked. So and I've never used a VPN. I've never used a VPN with 3 commas, right? Because it's legal for me to use 3 commas. So, you know, probably safe, but that's an interesting one. But then 3 commas and BitMEX would have to directly communicate and exchange information, which would be illegal unless they let you know. Oh, Miss Santa Maria Pinta said. Okay. Gotcha. Putting the pen down. I'm sorry. Done with the pen. Tom Crypto Newbie, you're welcome, man. Oh my God. 12 years, the world will end due to climate change. Hogwash. Human beings have the power to shape up, fix, go to the moon, fly off the planet, dig caves underground, live like the Morlocks. It's fear porn, man. It's nonsense, dude. Not to say that climate change isn't real. Climate changes all the time. And human beings are still alive. Okay? We've lived through ice ages, and we've lived through many ice ages, and all that other stuff, right? Coming from traditional stocks, I tried my usual buy at support, sell into resistance. Got wrecked in the crypto world. Got to shake the sell off. It's man, bear, pig. Yes, it's man, bear, pig. Hey, man, I totally feel you. There was a lot of nuance that I had to push away because I went from traditional stocks, well, actually E-mini futures mostly, to Forex, and then I went into crypto. And now I'm back in Forex as well. But, again, Bitcoin, and responds pretty well to your classical technical analysis. I don't think that it gives you as heightened a level of success if you just follow the trend and use trending indicators and develop your own algorithm that works very well. But that's right. It's time to terraform Mars. Half man, half bear, half pig. All awesome. Yeah. All right. So BTC USD on the 4-hour chart, man. BTC on USD on the 4-hour chart. This is what I was looking at, and I'll show you guys the setup that I took. So took the fill off the secondary baseline when price popped back up to the secondary baseline, right? That was today. So let's look at the short trade that I took. That was going to be this position right here. Okay. So for my alt Bitcoin trades, obviously I'm going to be doing adjusted risk, and for my BitMEX trades and for my BitMEX, ByBit, whatever you want to do. For my BitMEX and ByBit trades, those are full risk positions, right? Those are full risk positions, which means the R to R is generally quite high. And since the stop losses were quite small, since these were 4-hour setups, the stop loss was much closer to my entry point than it would otherwise normally be if I were taking a daily trade like I normally do. I.e., I was able to put much more capital into the trade. I was able to take a larger position size with the same amount of risk statistically. So anyways, took this short all the way down. That trade ended up working very, very well for me. Now, re-added, my goal here, my plan, right, is took the fill off the 55 EMA. Price already popped down, already took some profit because that was again a shorter time as well. And going to refill back up here at the cross under of the primary baseline, at the primary baseline. If price closes above, I've lost out on that position, whatever. But that's the daily trade insofar as I see it. The daily setup is most likely to take price to the upside. I think that until then, on the 4 hour, we can look for another pop back down. It's a good way to hedge up against your position. And again, I've got a Z19 position open, hedging all of my capital on BitMEX as well. So this is an addition to that. And I'm also fully hedged over on ByBit as well. Although I do have about a 25% holding of Bitcoin as well on spot, right? So that's Coinbase Pro Binance, moved out of Tether a little bit. So I'm still holding that. We'll see how that plays out. Thank you so much, Yang Enterprise Incorporated. How can a person with $500 to get into the market and pay you 30% right out of the gate to join your lowest level premium package and learn the right way to trade with the fee so high? Because they can. You know, and maybe joining the group isn't the right decision for you. And obviously, if you only have $500, $150 is a lot of that money. So you're only going to have, $350 to trade the market. Probably not going to make a whole lot of money doing that. But if you join the group, you will learn the right way to trade, or at least the way that we trade and the right way that it is for us. And if you don't like the way that we trade, that's totally fine. You know, but if you have $500 to get into the market, probably the better solution is for you to start investing that money instead, and then develop a active source of income, and then learn how to trade. And then when you actually know how to trade and are confident that you know how to trade, then you can turn trading into an active source of income. And that's exactly what we teach you how to do in the group. So, again, might not be the right decision for you, but, you made a straw man answer, dude. Like, yeah, you win. You got me. If you only got $500 and you give me 150 and I don't triple extra money, well, you're probably not going to become rich, right? But if you have $500 and you think that that's going to turn into $50,000, well, you're high, man. Raymond S., thank you so much for the sub on YouTube, my good man. The Great Pyramids used to be surrounded by water. Now it's desert. Change is normal. Wait, the desert. The pyramids used to be water. Are you saying that they were islands? Lemuria, man. Absolutely Lemuria. I think I missed, there are thousands of underwater cities through tens of thousands of years throughout our ocean. It happens all the time. Moonshine Fuel, please try the nature channel. Stop it, man. He's making good points. What is alt season? I think it's a different market from 2017 versus 2019. Sure, some will rise, but they are so beaten down. They're like penny stocks now with just a cool white paper. I mostly agree with you, my good friend. Made a mistake. Kiao Meow says, made a mistake and bought Bitcoin on July 3rd at 13K right before the dump. Have there been any clear signals that should have prevented me from taking that trade? Nah, man. I mean, I bought some Bitcoin, not at 13K, but okay, so that's a little different. I didn't buy Bitcoin on July 3rd. It wasn't a signal to take. In fact, I took price short on July 3rd, to be quite honest with you. But I mean, mistakes happen, man. Mistakes happen. Don't let that discourage you. I mean, you just made a bad trade. You didn't. I mean, there's no such thing as a mistake unless you learn from it. You know what I mean? Hey, thank you so much, Malicious. I highly appreciate that, man. By the way, I'll do it on stream. I really apologize that I never hit you back in Discord. I fully intended to, and then time just got away from me. Was not personal, man. I'd really like it if you reached out to me on Discord. I miss talking to you. Everyone knows the polar bears with their cars and cows. Hey, you guys are funny today, man. You guys are funny. All right, so that's the setup I'm looking for on Bitcoin. It's 12:31. Let's get over to Ethereum and look at justifications for that setup as well. We'll look at it on Coinbase as we normally do. You know what? Let's look at it on BitMexico. Let's jam today. Let's mix it up. Okay, so on the daily, getting a bounce off of the secondary baseline, right? 55 exponential moving average, right? Getting a nice solid bounce, man. Hey, Mal, thank you. I'm sorry I missed that, man. By the way, he said, subscribing for 4 months with Prime, man. Thank you so much for continuing on with us, my good friend. He says, sub as well. Don't know if the resubs show up or not via Restream. I hope they do. It's stream labels that I use for that. I don't know. I've tried to fix this system as good as possible. So if anybody's an expert, I'm just sliding along, man. Thanks so much for the continued support, brother. Yeah, come on, man. Knights didn't ride horses. They drove SUVs, bro. Music? Yeah, man, we can do music. Let me know if it's too loud, though, okay? I got like, you know, there's a lot that I want to talk about, so I don't want to overpower the stream. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit. At negative 50 dB. Let me know if that's too loud. I really want to, you know, make sure everybody's happy with the sound of the music. Unless you don't like EDM, in which case I don't know what to do, man. I like it. It's the most popular form of music. I mean, I would love to play some Dark Tranquillity or some Metallica, but then I would get a big why no jams today? We cutting our wrists on the pullback. Yeah, let's not have music today. Let's just click the pen, you know, like buy Bitcoin today. Invest to save the way, right? I think I just lost probably half the audience. Let's move on. Can't hear the music. You know, Jim, that's a good argument, man. He says not many alts with fundamentals or history of security of Bitcoin, so that makes sense. The next alt season will start once Bitcoin hits new highs and newbies think it's too expensive. That is a good fundamental catalyst for alt season. Not really their attractiveness as an investment in and of themselves, but newbies to the space who want to be involved with Bitcoin's meteoric rise, but think it's too expensive because they don't know that you can just buy a piece of a Bitcoin. So they're like, oh, well, I could just buy XYZ coin over here for 3 cents on the dollar and it's going to do the same thing, man. Do I go to any EDM shows? When I was younger, you know, in my young 20s, I really liked to go to festivals. I had a lot of fun. I traveled all around the world. I DJ'd as well when I was really young. I did I did some EDM festivals between the ages of 17 and 19, my younger years. Now that I'm older, the last festival that I went to was Project Earth, which is put on. If you guys are Wookieefoot fans, Project Earth it's a really cool festival up in the state of Minnesota. So that was a great time, great festival. You know, you got to be into that scene, and I don't use substances, but what I really like about Project Earth is that it bridges that festival and kid-friendly atmosphere. So I take my kids up there. My kids are young, and there's a whole lot of other kids there. They've got like a playground for the kids and like people to watch the kids, and they've got live music, and it's like the chill, family-friendly, hippie festival scene. A lot of love, good times. Not really my scene politically. Often I vehemently politically disagree with everybody up there as far as like the world and stuff, you know, but again, good people, good times, good music, man. What do I recommend instead of BitFinex? Thanks. I want to do the transition. I don't know where to go. I trade on ByBit, BitMEX, Deribit, Binance, Coinbase Pro, and I'll be switching, not switching, but I'll be adding support for Kraken, right? So I'll be honest with you, the majority of my trades are going to be done on Binance, ByBit, and BitMEX. That's where I trade, right? So, I mean, Bitfinex is nice because they just offer a wider range, and I understand why so many people want to trade there. But for me, I can't trust Bitfinex. I will not trade there. I will not put my capital there. They've done too many things that I think are shady, right? I don't trust them. And if I don't, no, I really don't. Wrap and run. Did I wear No, I was never like a scene boy like that, man. I was just chill, man. Like I've always looked like this, man. I kind of stand out, honestly, in the crowd. Different, you know what I mean? But when I was younger, I did like, you know, what's the word for it? Like scene girls, I guess, you know. Then I got kind of older and I realized that that's not really what I want in a woman. But whatever, you know, we all make mistakes. I've been young. So anyways, getting back to Ethereum, guys, on the daily, bouncing off the secondary baseline. Pretty interesting chart setup right here. Obviously, big movements down. Now, we do have on the daily, we have a full-fledged short position being signaled by PTP. So let's see where this closes But if I were to apply a little discretion to this, using CCI got us into the great trade one candle earlier on the close of this candle. So yesterday's candle close, where we actually got CCI going below zero, right? Minx missed this one, where we actually have CCI going below zero, where we are closing below the baseline, and Wadatar Explosion giving us the go ahead. And taking that trade to the downside, again, netted us a tidy profit because we took Ethereum USD to the downside yesterday. Do I just trade the top 10 coins, or do I make any trade-based technicals alone? So, lately, again, I generally almost always just trade the technicals, and it works out. The first week of July, applying that to alt BTCs, again, put me in drawdown. I had a rough week 1 of July. But, you guys can go see all the results at results.krakencryptocurrency.com. The strategy works really well, and I think that everything should be traded based off technicals, but I am a trend-following trader. So if the asset is bullish, then I will be looking to go long if I get a signal from my system. And if it's bearish, I won't go long. 5, lately it's been 10, like this week. It's been like 10% discretion. So I very, very rarely take reversal trades or anything against the dominant trend. I will occasionally, and occasionally I will take trades outside the realm of my system using price action. But, generally not. And that's not what I train people to do. Litecoin is the official cryptocurrency of the Miami Dolphins. Hoorah! Bitfinex is being investigated. Yeah, man. But yeah, I'll trade anything, man. Now, when it comes to Forex, it's different. I only trade the traditional Forex pairs. I don't trade exotic currencies. It's too many pairs to go through. And I find that the system doesn't work as well on exotic pairs. Anyway, so main point here is bouncing off the secondary baseline, right? So again, the trade was yesterday taking the short position. I think the trade is still overall to the downside, but I'm gonna relax today. I'm gonna relax just a little bit. And actually, if we go down to the the daily, okay, so the daily is bouncing off the 24. I will look for a re-entry up here. I will look for a re-entry right up here around that 292 level. I could be wrong and end up missing up on this, but again, I'm already hedged and I'm already short, but I'm probably not going to make a whole lot of money off of that. Relative to my capital balance. But, again, I think that looking at that reentry on the daily baseline is a good opportunity, especially because if we bring open Quadriga and plot for shorts, and we look at ATR is 22. And where did the big candle come in? Right. ATR is more appropriately 1650. So if we adjust that way, 1650, and use custom values for ATR instead, you can see we're well below the qualifying line. So that is too risky of a trade to put on. If we're closing below the qualifying line, we're too far away from the baseline, which is the closer we are to the baseline, the better the entry is. This is why reversal baseline bounces can be so attractive, but they're riskier. That's why we use less capital, and that's why we set our targets closer, right? So you can either accomplish this by going down to a lower time frame or by using the qualifying line, whatever you like to do. So that's not a trade that I want to take. I don't want to take the daily trade to the downside. Royal Francisco, thank you so much for liking the Wadatar Explosion script over there on TradingView. If you guys would like to use Wadatar Explosion, which is a part of my system, you guys can go check that out at tv.krakencryptocurrency.com. Make sure to follow and engage. We highly like it over there, man. The Dolphins are lightweights, so that works. Burrito says, where do I trade? In what page? What do you mean, man? What page what? I trade, like, what exchanges do I trade on, or where do I post my trades, or, like, where do I hang out? I trade on the exchanges that I listed, and you guys can join the Discord if you want and follow along with what I do, discord.krakencryptocurrency.com, or join the group if you want to get mentoring and get access to everything that we do. Let's see here. Okay, so I want to point out where Ethereum is right now. And I want to point out exactly what happened with LTC USD and all our big alts USD pairs, right? We were in a bullish trend. We ended up consolidating around our primary baseline for a while, ended up closing below, and then we consolidated in between our primary baseline and our secondary baseline. Go look at the chart of LTC USDT. It looks identical to this if we were to jump forward in the future, right? So just move back a little bit. Just move back a little bit in LTC USDT, like use the bar replay feature. And it looks, this is starting to set up just like it, right? We had a big dump down to the secondary baseline. And then what did we see? We saw about a week of consolidation. And then Litecoin broke to the downside, broke completely down to the downside, right? And so now Litecoin's really cheap. And a lot of people are saying, oh, we should pick it up, right? I don't buy things when they're cheap. I buy things when they're trending. Otherwise, you're just likely to dollar cost average on a losing bag all the way down. And that's fine to do for an investment, but not okay to do for your trading account. Doesn't make any sense. Your trading account is to make money, not to invest for the long term and hold on to a bag that's going to burn and cause you a lot of pain and agony. But I digress. So that is something interesting to... that is something interesting for you to keep your eyes on, right? That is something interesting for you to keep your eyes on. Ranging activity here from Ethereum and looking for that re-entry back at around the primary baseline, around that 294, 295 regions, where, or excuse me, 292, 294 region. is where I'd be looking for that re-entry to the short. I think the R to R is good there, which means the trade, the reversal trade now would be to trade off the secondary baseline back up to that area of resistance, right? So again, that's exactly what I did today. I took the long on Ethereum. I got filled at 268. Price is now at 273.60, and stop loss, a pretty conservative stop loss at 260. So we'll be looking to take. Let's actually see it because I have. Did we reach 270? Oh, okay, yeah. Never mind. Sorry. Already hit take profit one actually on that trade at 275. So cool. Cool. Let that consolidate for a little bit. See if we can get 279, 285, maybe 290 out of that. But anyways, LTF trade, not too bad. Yes. Beyond the long term, there, RK. Yes, I'm more bearish than bullish. Again, there's a trade potentially today or over the next few days to take price to the upside, but I really think the trade now is to get in at that retest of resistance. Take the trade down. So that's about it. Took a reversal trade on ETH. Got filled at 268. Took price to the upside, hit TP1 at 275, got higher orders in at 279, 285. Good, man. Good, Tom. All right, so we got 15 minutes left before we go to break, and we've got a whole lot to go through, so let's get into our traditional markets, guys. Trade safely, man. Crypto's volatile right now. If you don't know what to do, if you don't feel confident, sit on the sidelines, sit flat. There's going to be plenty of pumps, plenty of dumps coming later on. All right. So let's get over into, first off, the first thing we always do is we always look at the S&P CFD. I think that's indicative of how the market moves. The S&P CFD having a big movement to the downside today. So that doesn't look like much, but that's obviously a very large candle relative to what's going on. Price pulling back down to the daily baseline, looking like we're going to close below it unless we get some significant buying back, which often doesn't happen like this on the S&P. And you can see we struggled for a couple days. So the trade might be to the downside, but we have no confirmation of that yet. So just a situation to be sitting flat. Obviously, we took the continuation long on the S&P CFD and we exited right here. As you can see, we got the exit signal from Minx crossing back into the static line, coming off of a continuation long from right here. So that was a good CFD trade for the S&P that we called. And there's really nothing to do right now. Let's see if we get the short signal. Watatara isn't confirming. CCI is above zero. Minx is above zero. There's no trade to take. But again, excuse me. That's on the 4-hour time frame. That was on the 4-hour time frame. So you guys heard all that for the 4 hours. So let's go to the daily. This changes things a little bit. Continuation long, actually, on the daily. Excuse me. Continuation long on the daily. And it was this, right? It was this continuation long, sorry, that we rode, exiting right here. And again, reversal baseline bounce. We talked about this a couple days ago. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I get a little excited. I don't know. I don't know if I would necessarily say that Bitcoin wants to test the local lows. That's not really how I trade. I think that, well, again, I think that if the selling pressure commences and we don't get buyback, obviously the direction is to the downside. EDM for long, Metallica for sure. Right. So anyways, continuation long on the S&P 500 right now, which if we get a little bit of drawdown and then get the trade to the upside, would be good. Obviously, the 4-hour would have you looking to maybe take price to the downside, maybe down here to your secondary baseline. As you can see, has acted as a good level of support, double bottom off of the S&P with a little bit of a fake out down here. But, you know, I digress, whatever. But again, I mean, the S&P is in a very strong bullish trend, man. The S&P is in a very strong bullish trend. So, I mean, buy pullbacks in a trending environment, right? You know, obviously we might be experiencing what might be a local distribution pattern because we have a high, we have a retest of that resistance wicking slightly above, as we'll often see before a distribution pattern. But you see that same pattern happen out before you break out to the upside, right? After faking all the shorts out. So I don't know, trade with caution, but again, I'm still, I would be biased to the long side on the daily. I think there's probably a intraday trade to take price to the downside though. Yeah, alts are getting absolutely crushed. Yeah, holding burning bag is hazardous to your pocketbook, man. So with that in mind, let's go over to our E-mini futures. It makes me kind of want to stay out of our E-mini futures, but let's go see what the trade was. Bringing over to the NQ, coming off continuation long yesterday and in drawdown right now. Again, continuation longs have a high probability of being good signals in the entire way up, gets us back into the bullish trend until we have to take generally one L when the continuation long reverses the trend. And then again, it's usually not that big of an L. So kind of call it a tax for having a good system that catches the market consistently. But Wadatar still bullish, but starting to wane off a little bit. CCI still above zero. RVGI giving you the cross under actually, so we would be actually no, we're going to listen to Mix, which hasn't given us the exit signal yet, so nothing really to do. Going over to the SP, continuation long as well on today's trade again, so I think the long trade is there overall for the traditional markets. Same with the Dow. And again, the Dow, often when the SP and the NQ are weak, the Dow does really well. And the Russell kind of does its own thing in the general direction, but the Russell needs to be independent, evaluated on its own. Theo C, thanks so much for the follow over there, my good man. Not sure if you covered this, but what happened to the shorts? We're gonna get to that in the beginning of the second hour, man. Why do people hodl? It's for the stupid. I mean, listen, if they're doing that with their trading account and thinking that they're good traders, that's a bad idea. But from an investment standpoint, regularly investing your money over time, even when the market draws down, and increasing your investment standing power is the smart thing to do, right? If you're going to hold something for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and it's going to be part of your investment portfolio, then you just keep buying, man. It doesn't matter how low price goes. Same with Bitcoin. Like if you know, Bitcoin has been the best performing asset of the last 10 years. And even if you would have bought at a high, if you would have held that Bitcoin for 3 years, you made money every time. So I don't think there's anything stupid about dollar cost averaging down for your investment portfolio. But if you think that you're going to be a trader by doing that shit, you're wrong. Ben J, glad to be here before 6K subs. Came for the chart, stay for the EDM. Thank you so much, man. Migrating from Twitch, or migrating from YouTube, didn't know you were on Twitch as well. Yeah, man. Thank you so much for joining over there, man. So obviously the YM coming off, printing a continuation long signal, giving us this baseline bounce. Probably a good trade. Again, I would take some profit and look for price to continue to the upside. See if we do get a nice breakout here on the Dow. If the Dow breaks out, then most likely the NQ and the SP are going to follow, and they're going to be pulled out of their down slumps, which means we should look at those continuation long signals in a favorable light and not be so hesitant on our traditional markets here. And again, the Russell 1000 doing its own damn thing, throwing up a short signal, teasing off the tertiary baseline, closing below the primary. Minx throwing up a short. CCI still above the zero line. But we've got a lot. I mean, I don't know. This is rough. Just stay out of the Russell, man. Stay out of the Russell. VIX at 13.17, so whatever. And GLD, again, GLD throwing up an unconfirmed long signal, so not a trade that we would have taken. CCI still above zero, but losing steam and heading closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to the zero line. So what does that mean for ZAO? So let's go over to our CFDs and start off with gold. Getting over to gold, man. Again, gold just now throwing up an unconfirmed long signal. I mean, it kind of coincides with a baseline bounce. So you could take the trade if you want to. You could try to take that reversal trade off of this vicinity. But again, there's no confirmation for WADA. Means volume and momentum is really low. There's just not a whole lot of oomph, man. There's not a lot of oomph, and volume is low as well. So Scam Artist 2, ONRS, thanks so much for following over there on Twitch, my good friend. Don't try to scam anybody here, brother. Somebody tried to sell me a coin called Diet Bitcoin. I told him to get lost. I will take I will take. I'll take a glass of Diet Bitcoin, my man, especially if it's aspartame in there. Aspartame. Do I think Bitcoin and gold are correlated? Not directly. No, it's cool, Greg. It's all good. Do I trade? Do I? So Greg, so because of the nature of margin, I don't have to keep a whole lot of capital on deposit with the leverage exchanges, and that's the beauty of margin. So I end up keeping a lot of money in cold storage and on Coinbase, for example, right? But as far as Binance, like, do I take all my Bitcoin out every night and put it back? No. And I've been doing this since March 2016, and I've never, ever lost any cryptocurrency due to an exchange. But that's because I don't trade on jank exchanges. You will never catch me on anything less than Binance. Security, customer service, ease of use. Keith Frazine, it would be $150 per month. It's an RS3 name. I got you, brother. So anyways, not a strong signal here on gold. I think the baseline bounce is there, but this is an unconfirmed long signal, so not something that I'll take. And again, coming off of the losing continuation long signal, right, and the unconfirmed short signal, so this is starting really to look to me like a no trade zone for the time being, because again, the continuation long signals were great on the way up, and then you get that last bad one at the end, right? And then generally followed by a fake short. Again, good, unconfirmed, so we don't take the trade. Looking over at Palladium throwing up that continuation long trade. This is actually a reversal baseline bounce trade that I'd be interested in taking. Palladium's been strong, and if this is going to be the bad continuation long trade that shifts the trend, then look how close we are to the baseline. The RDR is really high there, so I think Palladium's a good trade to the upside. Silver, man, coming back down to that secondary baseline, bouncing back off. Currently, just consolidating, man. Again, this looks like this looks like Litecoin. All these fucking markets look the same, dude. In a bullish trend, lazy listing to the right, big sell down to the secondary baseline, and then they consolidate between the primary and the secondary, and then they dump, right? So just be on the lookout for that. Am I Mexican, Naruto Uzumaki? I might be. I don't know. I haven't done a DNA test, man. But to the best of my knowledge, I am like half German and then half Mutt. Und das ist gut, denn ich spreche ein kleiner Deutsch. Da, ich werde in die Tannen gehen. Wenn ich bin müde. OG and Jen, I lost about 4% of my account first week of July. I'm now back up in profit for the week of July. The week of May, I made 45.5% on my account. I did a little bit better than that, actually, excuse me, 38.8% in June. I am 1/1024th American Indian, just like Pocahontas. As most traditional, like blue collar, lower class families, yeah, there have been people in my family that are like, yeah, man, like, your great grandfather was Cherokee. Whatever. I have no idea. Maybe. I think that's something that, most like white people just like to say in America because they think it's cool. But where I live in the Midwest, there is a, what do you want to call it? It's not a reservation. They actually don't like that term. It's the Meskwaki tribe. So it's a settlement, right? Because they own that land. It's not a reservation. They own the land. Most reservations, the government owns the land basically and like rents it, I guess I would say, to the natives. But really, really cool people out there, man. Really good people. I've met a lot of them. They're good people. You are a jelly donut. Gotcha. Okay, 12:58. So let's go to break, guys. And when we come back, we'll skip the rest of the commods today. Honestly, it's not a super exciting day in commods. And yeah, my family said that crap all my life. Then I took 2 DNA tests, polyhedral. Yeah, I feel you, man. That's kind of like... Ich spreche ein wenig, nicht ein kleines Deutsch. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ich spreche ein wenig Deutsch. Midwest Attempts, you got it, man. Another one from Midwest Attempts from my neck of the woods, yeah. Good times, man. And by the way, the best casino hands down in the state of Iowa. Best casino, hands down. Loosest slots in the state. That's actual billboard. Anyways, guys, so we're gonna go to break, and when we come back, we're gonna break down the Forex markets and look at my Forex positions, and then we're gonna look at a massive, massive short position that was claimed on BitMEX and what caused them to go into immediate unscheduled maintenance, and as usual, be very vague about what the fuck is going on over on their exchange. We're also going to talk about Libra coin, and we're going to talk about altcoins. Will we ever see another bull reason? A thought-provoking piece. But before we go to break, and before we can cover that, guys, as a trader, selecting our exchange is going to be a very important decision. I'm almost always asked every single day what metrics I use to evaluate whether to trade on an exchange or not. And I say the same thing every time. The metrics that I use to evaluate an exchange are going to be security, ease of use, and customer service. And the exchange that I use for Bitcoin futures that checks all those boxes for me is ByBit. It has been a pleasure using ByBit. I really support their platform. I trade on there myself. I have moved almost all of my BTC trading capital off of BitMEX and onto ByBit because of their customer service, all right? That's mostly it, right? Their customer service and a huge lack of fuck you, stupid wicks, which doesn't really bother me as a swing trader, but a lot of the guys in the group are using the strategy that I teach on lower time frames, and BitMEX can just chew you up. Now, BitMEX works really great if you are on the inside club, but most of you guys are not. So if you guys would like to check out ByBit for yourself and determine for yourself whether it is superior to BitMEX or not, you guys can go to bybit.krakencryptocurrency.com to get signed up today. If you do that, they will give you up to $60 in margin to test and trade on their platform for free. Doesn't cost you a thing. That's bybit.krakencryptocurrency.com if you want to make the decision for yourself. Take the Pepsi Taste Challenge. I think you'll decide, just like I did, fuck BitMEX, I'm over on ByBit. Anyways, guys, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. If you got any chart requests, submit them in the chat, and Scott will try to grab them so that we are ready for the last half hour of the second hour, guys. I'll see you in just a minute. What up, guys? I'm back. Okay, where were we? Got the chat. Got the activity feed. MJM Nick, hey man, thank you so much for resubbing for 2 months with Prime, man. Huge shout out to you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and the stream, my good friend. And Malicious, man, I am sorry it's not showing up on the thing, man, but thanks so much for the bits, brother. 500 bits, man. Throwing it down. Love you, man. I need like a pop-up or something, because I need to know when stuff happens. I don't always. I get into the zone, I get concentrated, and I miss when you guys support the stream, which I highly appreciate. Thank you guys so much. Okay. I promise to make up for it. So, one of these days. All right, guys. Let's look at the Forex markets real quick, and then we'll get into the news of the day and my take on it. So, Forex markets right now. Aussie yen, as you can see on the Aussie yen, ended up buying on the close of this candle. Took some profits here. Nothing to do right now on the Aussie yen. We still don't have a good signal. Now, looking at CCI, CCI kept us in the long trade. CCI kept us in the long trade. We did close below both the primary and the tertiary baseline. Okay, now again, I know a lot of guys in the group are probably thinking like, Justin, what the fuck is this tertiary baseline? We'll get into it. It's not something that you need on your chart, just as with the secondary baseline. It's just something that helps out with discretion and something that helps you increase your hit rate if you know how to apply it properly. Exactly the way that I've taught is a simple, verifiable method that we will continue to walk through every single week or other week as I'm able to produce content. Mr. Crypto, hey, I'm new here. What am I doing in the live stream? Typically, I sit here and I talk about technical analysis, I talk about risk management, I talk about emotional discipline and psychology, and I give my thoughts and opinions on what's going on. And I, generally have a whole lot of fun. Take it easy, Michael Weston, man. Get back to that tractor, man. Don't get too hot out there in the sun. Also, don't forget, we are live on the podcast, BreakingBitcoin.money. You can listen to us while you plant, brother. All right, Forex markets. So no strong trade on the Aussie yen. Now breaking back above the zero, or breaking back above the baseline as we are doing. If your initiator was already signaling for you to go long, now is a good opportunity to do it. But there's not a trade for me on the table here. Looking at the Aussie dollar, looking like we are going to be closing back above the baseline right now. So again, this was a trade where we closed back above the baseline and actually losing trade right here. Taking the short, getting the stop loss hit, so I can cancel the buy limit on that actually. So the first 2 weeks really good on the Forex markets, was up 7%, down again to about 4% now. A little bit of drawdown, still up overall. In the Forex markets, man. Looks like I've been tanning on Krypton with that purple glow. Let me look at my camera features, because that is a little weird. That's a little much, man. I think the saturation might be up really high. That is a little disconcerting. Filters. Wonder why I do look so purple. That is weird. Let's turn the... Yeah, if I turn the color intensity down, the green screen gets whacked out. So I know how to fix it. I'll just go to main webcam and throw a filter on. And turn the... Foxy, am I bullish or bearish? I'm bearish, but I've taken some long positions in the short term. But I think the overall trend is most likely to be consolidation to the downside. It's a good look. Thank you so much, man. Color correction, and let's just bring that saturation down. Sun tanning is good. There we go. Well, that's a little too gray, don't you think? Like this? Is that good, guys? All right. So on today's exciting episode of Break... Purple. That reminds me of one of my daughter's videos she listens to. Purple. There we go. A little bit of a hue shift. Do I look normal now? Good. Looking normal. think that's what I normally look like. Okay, we'll just keep it locked in at that. Okay. Not a trade to take yet on the Aussie dollar. Not a trade to take yet on the Aussie dollar. No confirmation. A lot of pop and chop coming from the Forex, man. Canadian Swissy. I'd still be, let's see, actually, yeah. I would have been officially out of the Canadian Swissy on this candle. You can see I took profit early on this trade. Canadian yen went long here, took profit here and here. Because RVGI crossed to the downside, so staying out of all of this. No strong signal to re-enter yet. Swissy yen, unconfirmed long signal, so we'll wait for some momentum. Let's see here. The Euro Aussie, nothing to do. The Euro CAD, no strong signal. The Euro Swissy, nothing to do on the Euro Swissy, a lot of chop. Euro Kiwi is throwing up a confirmed short signal today, so that might be a good trade. Here in a couple hours, let's circle that one for later. Let's see here. Euro Pound, waiting on this one. Took the continuation long. Nothing to do right now. Euro Yen. The Euro Yen is throwing up a long signal. Opportunity to get back in. Euro Dollar, man, just wicked my stop loss. You can see my entry here. RVGI finally crossing to the upside now, so I'll likely be exiting this trade today in profit. We'll see how the candle closes. Pound Kiwi throwing up a continuation short signal, so let's look at that one for later. Pound CAD went short here, took my profit down here because RVGI crossed up. Nothing to do right now. Let's see here. The Pound Swissy, let's see, in drawdown off this continuation short, so we'll let that ride for a little bit. Pound Yen, continuation short on today's candle, so we'll look at that one. Pound Dollar, took the Pound Dollar short here, took profits here, here, and here. Nothing to do right now. The Kiwi Dollar, nothing to do. The Kiwi CAD, nothing to do. Is RVGI going to cross up? No, not yet. And we're testing resistance. We're testing the baseline. So let's see if we can get drawback down. The Kiwi Swissy is throwing up a confirmed long signal. Let's look at that one later. Kiwi Yen throwing up a confirmed long signal. Dollar CAD throwing up a short signal. Pound Aussie, nothing to do. The Dollar Swissy, nothing to do. The Dollar Yen, nothing to do. The Aussie CAD, nothing to do. The Aussie Swissy, nothing to do. And the Dollar Yuan, nothing to do. Again, look at the Dollar Yuan. Look at that same pattern that we saw play out on Litecoin, that we're seeing play out on gold, that we're seeing Ethereum potentially play out with. Trending. Breakdown, consolidation between our secondary baseline and our primary baseline. And every time we've seen it go like this. Every time. I just want to point that out. So definitely something to be watching for. Morse code. Whoa, man. What's up, brother? Foxio says, I'm kind of all in. Should I sell? Well, I mean, again, it just depends, man. Like, if you're invested for the long term, then you should never sell. But if that's your trading balance, then, I mean, that's all going to depend on your personal technical analysis and your personal risk. I mean, you definitely need to have an exit. You definitely need to, if you're all in with your whole account, then you definitely need to have a stop loss that only loses you 2% of your account. You should never be losing more than 2 to 3% of your account per trade. So you just need to, shouldn't be all in. You should be diversified. You should be managing your risk. You should be looking to hedge. You should be looking to maybe, take another trade to the downside, maybe pick up a hedge short. I mean, I'm mostly flat, 1x short, and in short positions with some long positions to hedge out. All right, so nothing major coming in on Forex today. We'll see. Some good. Do I look shiny, man? I don't want that shiny look. I don't like that cartoony look. You guys let me know if I look like a cartoon. I don't want to look like that polished, cartoony look. It's weird. It's weird. It's unnatural. And then you're in for the long run, man. Just make sure you're prepared. Because it is often an unpleasant time. Boom. All right, here's an article from Ethereum World News. With massive Bitcoin shorts gone, Bitcoin could drop another 23%. So getting past that fear porn, let's look at what this really is. So a huge whale has claimed 9,000 Bitcoin worth of shorts on Bitfinex. If that position was not leveraged, that's over $100 million worth of Bitcoin, about 113 million at the time of the claim. So that made the amount of short positions open on Bitfinex drop 60% in an hour. So here's shorting 101 for those of you, because I don't think that a lot of crypto traders who generally don't have a lot of experience in traditional markets, I don't think that a lot of you guys understand the fundamentals of shorting. So when you short Bitcoin, for example, when you short Bitcoin, or any asset, you are selling Bitcoin at your entry price for the short. Okay. Now, if you're using leverage, whatever the amount that is over your margin that you're putting into the trade is technically Bitcoin or dollars, whatever, that you don't have. So you need to borrow that remainder from somebody. So when you short sell Bitcoin, for example, you are sorry. So usually this pool of Bitcoin that is used for loans to short sellers comes from the exchange, comes from your broker. On Bitfinex, it's a P2P pool of investors, basically. Usually in traditional markets or traditional exchanges or Forex, it's an investment bank or some sort of financial entity. And there's often a fee associated with this lending to put on a short sell. So if I short sell Bitcoin at $500, for example, and it drops to $400 and I cover or buy, that has completed the loop. Now, let's say I only, I take I short one Bitcoin at 500, it drops to 400. So if I only had half a Bitcoin to put up as margin, so the exchange is loaning me half a Bitcoin to cover to collateralize the position, I put the trade on, and when I cover at 400, I keep the $100 profit because I shorted one Bitcoin. It dropped from 500 to 400, difference of $100. I keep that $100 difference as profit, and minus any fee associated with borrowing the money, and I give the half of the Bitcoin back to the exchange, again, plus the funding fee. So on Bitfinex, you can settle a short directly from your wallet, which means you are buying your entire position back and going long at that price on spot. So you were on the futures, trade, and without buying back on the futures market, you claim your position, buy your entire position size with your own money, bypassing the loan essentially, and establish yourself a long position spot. So spot BTC USD. Now, there is a pretty good pattern with very large short claims, and there's a psychological reason for this. Typically, when we have huge movements like that, when large shorters are covering and going long in a significant way, it usually means price is going to drop. With the exception of the very last one, prior to that, the four major closures of large short positions like this resulted in an average of a 23% correction. However, I will note that the very last time we had a large closure, Bitcoin rallied almost immediately 28%. So, as with all things, it's a strategy, but it's not bulletproof. So trade safely if you're trying to trade off that. Now, it is interesting to note, immediately after this happened, around 10 a.m. London time, Bitfinex shut down for unscheduled maintenance. They said that all trading is temporarily halted, all wallets would be unaffected, and traders would be kept informed of updates as they became available. About 4 hours after that, they added that the issue has been identified and a fix is being implemented. We'll communicate updates in real time. So, basically, in my opinion, it kind of worked like this. Like, damn, somebody claimed a huge short. Guys, shut the exchange down and double check the fine tuning on that tether printing machine because we got to pump this shit. That's my opinion. Now, what is possible, and you'd have to do chain analysis to actually determine it, and maybe we'll never know, but is that it's possible that Bitfinex got fooled by an orphan block. So yesterday around that, yesterday my time, but earlier today, around that same exact time, there was an invalid orphan block, which if you guys don't know what an orphan block is, just Google it, on the Bitcoin blockchain. If Bitfinex accepts one block confirmations, as I believe they do, then it's possible that they got fooled by Bitcoin that they thought existed, but that did not actually exist on the blockchain. So, i.e., it was a fake position. So it's too early to know for sure, but we'll see. Now, in an update following this, Paolo, who's the CTO at Bitfinex, He said that somebody did claim his short position. He verified that somebody did claim their short position. As to why they had unscheduled maintenance, he says, quote, "It was a regression after an update, and it was safer to pause trading until they verified and fixed it." Right. So you just happen to be pushing an update at the exact same time that a massive whale claimed 9,000 BTC worth of shorts. Okay. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Bitfinex this is the shit this is why I don't like Bitfinex. Because that's blatant bullshit. And they're just fucking upfront with it, right? Like, nobody sees that. That's fucking convenient. That pisses me off, dude. I don't like that kind of shit coming from Bitfinex. That's why I'll never trade over there. So Paolo was further asked if the shorts were legitimate or if the orphan block theory was true, and if they were, why that didn't have an immediate effect on price. No response. So, anyways. Are trading APIs required to trade? No, not at all. Carl Roberts, hey, what's going on? Hopefully you're doing well over there in Manchester. Or the exchange lost money, yeah. I mean, nobody knows how shit actually works behind the scenes over there at Bitfinex. I mean, I'm sure some people do. But have fun. Okay, moving right along. Little notable mention, John McAfee. Shout out to you, my brother. John McAfee, unfortunately exposed his social security number to the entire internet. So there's been a big hado over there on Twitter about, obviously him trying to run for president for the Libertarian Party nomination. He lost last year to Gary, what's his name? And there's been this huge thing that, the IRS is after him for tax evasion. Obviously, John McAfee's been investigated for a murder that took place in Belize. So he's quite the character, obviously. You guys are probably well aware of that. But he posted some screenshots earlier regarding his, regarding the entire Sputnik thing, right? So Sputnik claiming that the IRS said that, he was wanted for tax evasion. So he tweeted some official documents that unfortunately had a social security number on them. And he took it back. He immediately deleted the tweet and scribbled them out. But of course, people caught it and screenshotted it. So, it is what it is, man. Fun guy to follow over there on Twitter, man. All right, so Winklevoss twins and Mark Zuckerberg. Friends again. Friends will be friends. We're running naked in the sand. As long as there's a Libra coin, we'll always be friends. Yeah. So Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, the darlings of the crypto world, are willing to let bygones be bygones with their old pal, Mark Zuck. Now, for those of you who haven't seen the social network or have been living under a rock for the past decade, the twins allege that Zuck stole their Facebook prototype, which was called Harvard Connection, and used it to lay the foundation of what eventually became Facebook. Now, this led to them obviously losing out on billions of dollars off of the off the price appreciation of Facebook and the empire that they were able to build. But their desire to be involved with Libra and the Libra project has them willing to bury the hatchet, apparently. Tyler predicts that in the next 24 months, almost every FANG company will have a coin or be working on one. FANG means Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, for those of you who don't know, and it's often used as a catch-all term to just describe Silicon Valley large tech companies. Now, Gemini Exchange, which was founded by the twins, has applied for their broker-dealer license in the United States with FINRA. Now, that means if they are approved, they will be allowed to legally list digital securities on their exchange, which might make Gemini a go-to exchange for larger investors and larger traders, especially here in the United States. So definitely Gemini Exchange, one to watch moving forward. Now, here's a little bit more on the 10,000 Bitcoin shorts. Coming from Trust Nodes. This is actually a really good article on the Trust Nodes website. Okay, here we go. Altcoins. Are we ever going to get an alt season? So, now, just anecdotally, the entire Twitter space, the entirety of crypto Twitter is calling for an alt season. I mean, seriously, if you're on Twitter, I cannot scroll past 2 tweets without seeing somebody who is screaming for the next coin that's going to 500x and why I need to buy it, right? Bitcoin dominance is so high, historical trend. It's just like it's going to be back in 2017. Oh my God, look at this coin. It's so low. They're all oversold. It's fucking nonsense, dude. But it's caustic. It's caustic is what it is. So Peter McCormick, who I actually quite like, he's the host of the What Bitcoin Did podcast, went on a bit of a rant the other day. So starting off with saying that if you own more ETH than Bitcoin, you are wrong. He asserted, rightly so in my opinion, that Bitcoin will, in the long run, obliterate the rest of the crypto market, leaving a trail of altcoin bag holders left behind crying. So, if you are praying for an alt season, Peter's response is keep on praying because Jesus is not here to save you. He says, quote, the reason you haven't had an alt season is right here. Right here. He says, where is it? Here we go. He says, quote, the reason you haven't had an alt season is simple. You all know that alts are junk and aren't worth shit. You're hoping for more clueless morons to pump the shit, but they aren't here. 2017 was a one-off. We were all clueless. Buy Bitcoin, go long, STFU. Now, it would be funny if he is entirely wrong about this and Bitcoin drops and alts start pamping. And there is some correlation, obviously, between Bitcoin dominance and obviously alts going into alt season after Bitcoin reaches its high and begins its large correction because that's what has happened historically. But I want to impart upon you guys something from my years of investing in traditional markets. Look at how an asset performs in a bull market. So we have been in a crypto bull market for the last 4 months. Okay. Now, don't worry about alt Bitcoin pairs because Bitcoin dominance has been too high for them to do much but drop off the face of the map. Look at the alt USD pair. Okay. If an alt USD pair has not performed well in a bull market, how well do you think that alt USD pair will perform in a bear market? Okay, you always, just a good rule of thumb that I've always lived by is you always want to be long the strongest asset in any sector and short the weakest asset in any sector, right? You don't try to think that, oh, this is an underperformer, so let's take it long. It's not the way to go. That is reversal trading territory and will get you absolutely chopped up. So, now the alt BTC value doesn't really matter here that I'm talking about because most people don't make as many dollars as they think they do when they trade alt Bitcoin pairs because the underlying BTC value, which is their base currency that they're trading against, might be lower often when they end up selling their alt for profit. So you need to do a little bit more of an advanced P&L calculation so that now that's not to say that I don't trade alt to BTC pairs. I trade them a lot. I'm just saying that you need to value your wealth in dollars and do your P&L calculations based off of that. Stacking sats, as it's colloquially referred to, does not mean anything if you're losing money in your trading account, if you're losing dollar value in your trading account. Your trading account is there to maximize your dollar wealth value, your purchasing power value. Trading is intended to maximize your purchasing power. If your purchasing power is valued in Bitcoin, or if you're reviewing your purchasing power in Bitcoin, but your dollar value is dropping, you are not increasing your purchasing power. You are decreasing your purchasing power by being idealistic, and you're being dumb. Now, your trading account is there to maximize your purchasing power so that you can generate an active income off of your trading or generate income to invest for the long run because the dollar is going to give you a greater purchasing power to purchase more Bitcoin or purchase more stocks or purchase more precious metals, whatever you guys want to invest in, purchase more real estate. That is how you build long-term foundational wealth and become financially independent, right? The world is not kind to anybody who thinks that Bitcoin is going to make them millionaires. It's not. So many people lose that game. You want to be diversified. Have to be. So, stacking sats in your trading account is silly in my opinion. So, assets that perform weakly in bull markets valued against the dollar are going to perform terribly in bear markets, in my experience. And if we're going to have a big Bitcoin correction and enter into a mini bear market, your alt USD values are going to get torched. They're likely going to get torched, man. Especially if it's a weak performing altcoin that's been performing weekly in a bull market. So just be really, really careful out there with your altcoin trades and your altcoin investments. Almost all of my losses that I take are in alt Bitcoin trades. And most of yours are as well, I would bet. But again, when you take an alt Bitcoin trade and Bitcoin moves up, you don't really lose that much in dollar value. You're just losing sats and it doesn't really matter. Hey, Alpine Whip, what's going on, my good man? Yasha Harari, I think that your statement is completely incorrect. USD has fallen a lot against Bitcoin. Why would I say that the point is to collect a falling fiat currency? All right, so how much does the dollar devalue every year? It's less than 1%. It's about 1%, give or take, right? How much can Bitcoin devalue in a year? 90+%. Okay, it's a volatile asset, man. Schwager should interview me. That would be awesome, dude. That would be cool. Until Bitcoin is the global money standard, you don't value your wealth in Bitcoin, man. Bitcoin is part of my long-term investment. It's part of my investment portfolio, but my entire life does not hinge upon Bitcoin. If Bitcoin were to drop to zero, guess what? I'd go be profitable trading Forex, or I'd be profitable trading stocks. Just as my stock investments have been insanely profitable for me over the course of my life because I've had an investment strategy since I was 21. You got to be diversified, man. Like, there is more to the world than Bitcoin. Just because if Bitcoin's going to be the global standard, I mean, you're still going to be companies. And again, I don't say that to not be bullish on Bitcoin. I'm very, very bullish on Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. I'm here to support the community and the infrastructure. But I've seen so many people make bad decisions and lose a lot of money. 2018 was a great example. The United States dollar has not fallen a lot against Bitcoin. Bitcoin has valued significantly against the United States dollar, but that can change in a heartbeat, man. It can change in a heartbeat. I didn't say that it's worth less than holding dollars, and that's not mathematically wrong. You are incorrect or misinterpreting what I'm saying. I'm saying that the national reserve currency that maintains the strongest purchasing power worldwide that you can utilize to purchase things like stocks or other investments or real estate or food or pay your bills or pay your rent is more useful right now than Bitcoin as a form of wealth storage value. Bitcoin is an investment vehicle for the most part to increase value. Bitcoin will be a world reserve currency in the future. So that's why Bitcoin is part of my investment portfolio, but the purpose of my trading account is to maximize my dollar value, i.e. my purchasing power. Awesome, Kendi. That's a good plan, man. It's a good plan. I support you, man. Now, if I wanted to steer away from the dollar, what value would stablecoins have? I mean, there's some good stablecoins out there, so not all stablecoins are created equally. But I mean, the real key to life, man, is planning investments for the long term, right? You know, and diligently investing every single week, every single month in a diversified portfolio, man. No, good questions, man. Good questions, Joshua. Thank you. Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, a lot of people trade for US. So I mean, there's just two thoughts on this, right? Some people trade. I would say that with very few exceptions, that people who trade to increase their Bitcoin value have another active source of income except for besides their trading income. Because if you're like, for me, for example, I'm a professional trader, so I need to generate revenue in dollars, not only to pay back to investors, but also to also to live off of. Like, I have to pay my bills. I can't pay I can't pay my bills in Bitcoin, right? Unfortunately. As a starter, how much should one start off with investing in Bitcoin? You should start off investing in Bitcoin with as much as you can financially afford to invest. So, just a little bit of mathematics here. I don't think that everybody should invest all their money in Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin should be a significant portion of your investment portfolio. But I will always tell people to invest in foreign currency, to invest in precious metals, and to invest in stocks, man. Invest in stocks. They've been Bitcoin's been the best performing asset of the last 10 years. But, saying that the stock... So here's my theory on this. People have been saying that the stock market is going to absolutely collapse for years. And it is statistically fact that if you invested in the stock market at any period at all in your life and never sold, you have generated wealth. So it's my opinion, especially as an American, that if the American stock market fails, then likely we've been invaded or lost a war, right? Now, that doesn't mean that the economy can't take a hit, but the economy will recover as long as America can continue to exist, right? So me betting against the stock market because I'm 31. So me saying that the stock market will fail in my lifetime is the same thing as saying that I think America will fail, and I don't feel that way, right? I don't. I mean, I know that this is a controversial subject, but I am a proud American. I like my country. I think my country stands for good things. I think that there are bad things that happen in the world. I think that America does some bad shit, but every government does. Every government's hand is dirty, right? It's not like America is terrible to Iran and all these other countries, and those countries don't do jack shit to their citizens. Every government is corrupt, man. Every government is corrupt. I should do the forest background like back in the day. Loved that filter. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, man. Oh, what do I use to invest in stocks? Something like Ameritrade? I use Robinhood, man. I think Robinhood's great. I mean, I used to use Fidelity. I used Fidelity for a long, long time. I recently got started with, I moved some capital over to Wealthfront. Wealthfront you can use to invest directly in Vanguard. I'm tracking some traditional Vanguard indexes, so it is what it is. HRC for prison, yo. I agree, man. Right. That's the point, man. That's the point, dude. If America fails, that's my point. Like, if I invest, because I'm invested pretty heavily in the stock market, I'm invested heavily in Bitcoin, I'm invested heavily in foreign currencies, I'm invested heavily in precious metals, as well as real estate and some franchises. So I'm pretty much good no matter what happens. If America's stock market fails, again, we're being invaded or we've lost a war, and we're being taken over by another dictatorship or another nation or whatever, right? Or restructured. I've got bigger problems, man. I've got bigger problems. It's, it's bullets, bandages, and MREs at that point in time. And I've got the bullets and bandages, you know what I mean? How am I a Bitcoin maximalist? Because I believe that Bitcoin is an honest form of money that will be the future of the world. That doesn't mean that stocks are going to go away, dude. Stocks are just going to be valued in Bitcoin. Like, Bitcoin is not, like, if Bitcoin is, like, the purpose of Bitcoin, in my opinion, is not to, like, burn everything down. You're still going to have stocks, dude. Like, capitalism works. I mean, Bitcoin is a capitalistic structure. Bitcoin is just there to replace fiat currency, man. You're still going to have stocks. You're still going to have investment. You're still going to have wealthy people. You're still going to have poor people. Bitcoin's not going to magically fix all those problems. Those are problems that society needs to fix. Bitcoin solves the problems of central bank currency manipulation, overinflation, and governments using money as a bludgeon against poor people. What are my thoughts on Robinhood crypto? Stay far away from Robinhood crypto. Robinhood is fantastic. I haven't really tested them out. Webull or M1 Finance, I haven't used them. I like Robinhood. But, whoops, fiddle. But with Robinhood crypto, you got to stay away, man, because you don't actually have crypto. You can't withdraw it. You can't do anything but trade it. It's not your Bitcoin, man. It's not your Bitcoin. You don't get a private key. It's not real crypto. Never buy cryptocurrency on Robinhood. Robinhood is absolutely fantastic for stocks. Understand that that's a taxable account. So just make sure you're allocating for that as far as your capital, allocation. So it's different from like a Roth IRA or a 401k. So big things to understand when you get into investing. But, yeah, for real, man. Why a pistol with shotgun shells? Because wrong house, motherfucker. Oh, man. I used Stash for a while, but it seemed very limited. Yeah. America must fall? America doesn't gotta do shit, man. Can I check my DMs? Yeah, man. Just a moment. I don't see a DM from you, sir. I don't know what your discriminator is either. Wait a second. I think you might have me blocked, good sir. Because I cannot find you when I type your name into Discord there, sir. Here come the judge. Yeah, man, I mean, you know, everybody, you know, lost their mind when Robinhood introduced crypto. And it's cool and everything. Hey, Standing Lot 85, man. Thanks so much for joining the community over there on Twitch, man. Okay, so we've been on this article for a while, man. It's 1:43. This is a good day. Y'all got any charts you want me to look at? I'd be happy to do it, man. We're going to be talking about this tomorrow, too. China, the PBOC, reportedly set to jumpstart a national digital currency. Yeah. Yeah, the revolver you can load 410 shotgun shells into. Because wrong house, motherfucker. Have I looked at BNB oozed or BNB BTC? No, let's do it, man. Let's do it together. I really don't like looking at these trading view calcs, but really the only, I thought I wrote them down. XMR, like, you know, when I was looking for like 4-hour setups earlier this morning, or looking for the 12-hour close at 7 a.m. I mean, the only thing that I saw was XMR and ZEC that were really doing anything. Looks like BNB do something over the last 4 hours. Let's look at BNB USDT. It's a little bit more smooth, more liquidity. Okay. Again, BNB, let's start on the daily and then we'll work our way down. BNB, so here's my point. Like, this is that exact pattern that I wanted to point out, right? Look at this. You're in a bullish trending environment. You end up having a big sell, a big movement back down below the baseline. You find support on the secondary baseline. You consolidate in a tight pattern and then break to the downside. Like, literally, we've looked at probably 15 or 20 charts that look like this, and they're all dollar pairs. Kubal Mango, I mean, I hear what you're saying, dude. I hear the communist kids at Starbucks saying that bullshit all the time. The reality is, like, every single economy, I guess you could argue that way. Like, to say that America has never done anything good is nonsense. And to say that America is any different from any other government out there is nonsense. Like, that's just rhetoric that's been fed into your mind, dude. Like, every single government out there abuses other people, takes advantage of other people. America just happens to be the biggest and baddest at it, and that's why you're mad at us. There's a whole lot of bad shit that our government has done, that our history has done, that our country has done, that my uncle's done, that my cousins have done, that people down the street do that I don't agree with, man. The world is a dark, dirty, evil place, dude. AK-47 is the wrong house greeting. Can we look at Blizzard stocks? Oh, I'd love to, dude. BLZR. Yeah, man. I think it's BLZRD, right? Yeah, BLZRD. Let me finish with BNB oozed. So we got the continuation short signal coming from the system yesterday on the daily time frame. Would have been a great trade, you know, if there was a reliable exchange for me to take BNB USDT to the downside. I really can't wait until, you know, Binance launches their really goes hard with their margin trading. I mean, literally, guys, if you can short altcoins, we like reliably, if Binance really does do this, if Binance does this game right with having enough capital and can get enough liquidity on their DEX to be able to short and do margin trading and take altcoins up and down, especially against Tether or whatever, or BNB, whatever, it doesn't matter. Preferably against a dollar or a stable coin. That would be the best, right? Way simpler for calcs. Then we got a great freaking altcoin market, right? We've got a fantastic altcoin market. When there's an incentive to take price short and long, when you can short an asset, it usually hopefully this makes sense. Like when you can't short an asset and then it's like an altcoin and nobody really gives a fuck, like there's nothing to stop price from collapsing. But when you can, like when you're a big whale and you can push price long and liquidate a bunch of shorts and make a whole bunch of money, all of a sudden we now have an economy, man. We've got a real tradable market, and all my naysaying about alt markets or anything like that, or all the naysaying of other alt markets, goes by the wayside, dude. If Binance does shorting altcoins right, especially against a dollar or dollar pair or a stable coin pair, then we've got an economy, man. We've got a market, baby. The Whiskey Bond, what's going on, man, my good man? Having a fair-sized investment in Scotch whiskey in the form of a collection around 100k euros. Good, man. That's a nice... I'd like to take a picture of that, man. Hop in the Discord and shoot me something, dude. I want to look at other means of investing now as a newcomer to BTC and cryptos. Is Bitcoin too volatile to buy into just now? Should I wait for a possible drop? So volatility is what makes it an attractive investment. So if you want to invest in Bitcoin, right now is always the good time to buy Bitcoin, right? Be prepared to dollar cost average down to 1,000. Be prepared to dollar cost average up to 100 grand. Bitcoin is a fantastic investment for the future. Don't go all in, right? If you want to look at other means of investing, I highly recommend doing some research on the stock market. I highly recommend doing some research on dividend generating stocks or high value stocks, for example, or stocks that have a very good track record over their 5-year yield, 5-year curve. Pick up some foreign currencies. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you have savings. You have a nest egg, right? So, enough to live off of for 3 to 6 months. You want to stash that money in a high interest savings account. Wealthfront is actually pretty good, but I'm not going to do the thing. Of course, Binance is going to use BNB as their trading pair, but I'm just saying if they also allow us to margin against USDT, that's much better, much cleaner. Oh, I mean, I know Crypto Mavic. I mean, I short a lot of alts. I'm on BitMEX, ByBit. I'm going to be trading on Kraken a little bit. But here's the thing. I mean, we need more. We need more of that, right? We need to be able to short like fucking absolute shit coins, man. And then there's a reason to take them long. So today someone told me how Bitcoin will have a limited supply eventually, but stocks won't, which is why investing in stocks isn't the best option. So what's your advice on that? Investing in the stock market has been the best investment over the last 150 years. So, I mean, just mathematically, statistically. But I have to agree that I am benefiting from the crimes of your uncle, as you said. So that's going to be true of any person living anywhere in the world, okay? I mean, straight up, man. Again, this comes back to the fact that every single country, every single nation state on the planet, going back to the Babylonians, has committed atrocities against other nation states, period. So if you have a car, if you have a house, if you have air conditioning, if you have electricity, if you have fire, if you have a roof, if you have clean water, if you have a cell phone, if you have headphones, if you have a microphone, if you have anything in life that makes life nice, the technology is produced, anywhere in the world that you're living, you are guilty of that, exactly as you said. The reason I hate that opinion about humanity is because it devalues everything that's good about humanity. All right? So I agree with you that complacency is the root of mediocrity, but pushing all your hate on the biggest, baddest bully on the street is also the root of mediocrity, because most people with that mentality don't really do very well in life. They sit around, they complain about shit, and then they don't do anything. I am not mediocre. I have dedicated my life toward financial independence and freedom and helping other people out and teaching them the best that I can. And what I have come to believe very firmly is that rhetoric like what you're spewing is nonsense, harmful to you, harmful to other people, and doesn't help the world out at all, right? Blaming America for being America, blaming America for being the best at what every other evil nation around the world does is completely pointless. Absolutely pointless. ByBit, Louis Freely, 100%, brother. A knife catch a day keeps the wrecked away. I wanted to get back to talking about investing in Bitcoin, man. You know, just get a ledger, get a cold storage setup, man, just like I do, and plan to put whatever you can afford. Let's say, so if you invest $500 a month, $500 a month invested in the stock market, for example. So let's say that Bitcoin's going to return better than that, right? Bitcoin's the best performing asset of the last decade. So $500 a month invested in 40 years is about $1.65 million. Depends on what you invest in, right? So let's say that's going to be 1.35 million with Bitcoin, or let's say it's going to be 3.5 million with Bitcoin, right? So if you're 20 right now and you start investing in stocks and you start investing in Bitcoin and you start investing in precious metals, by the time you are 60, you're going to be a multimillionaire and you'll never have to work another day in your life. If you start investing in Bitcoin today, $500 a month, and dividend generating stocks, you will probably be generating enough passive income off your investments to pay $1,000 to $2,000 a month for the rest of your life. And you'll never have to work another day in your life. So if you're 18 right now, or 20 or 30, and you're willing to grind away for the next 10 years and save half of all your money, let's say you make $1,000 a month, right? So this works with $1,000 income. So if you're making more income, this is going to work a lot faster for you. But again, the higher the income you're bringing in means the higher generally your standard of living is going to be. So you're going to have to generate more. It's still going to take the exact amount of time. But if you save half of your income, you should, if you're wise, in 10 to 15 years, be generating enough passive income if you invest in the right things to never work another day in your life, right? It's exactly what I'm doing. Only once did I catch a falling knife when the cat bumped me and knocked it off the counter with the blade heading for his head. So now I put all the knives away. Time zone question. If you trade the daily before the candle close, which is a good idea in Forex, does this have any advantages in crypto with the 24/7 market? Would you recommend to choose the chart time zone so the candle close fits your preferred daily trading time window and closes directly before it? If you could check the charts every morning at 5 a.m., you could just set the time zone to close daily candles at 5, or does it just not matter at all in crypto? So there are, just as in Forex, man, just as in Forex, there is an increase in volatility and good directional bias that's generated at 0000 UTC, Universal Standard Time, which is when all the exchanges in cryptocurrency close their daily candle, right? So I think that it's best to trade that time frame. That is the best time to be putting on trades, in my experience. Put that. Complacency is the root of mediocrity. Put it on a shirt. Let's ship some units. Bro, Blizzard stocks. Yeah. Sorry, Burning Legion. I feel like I didn't do a very good analysis on BNB. Tan, man, thank you so much for the sub over there on YouTube, my good friend. Let's go to the 4 hour. I just want to see if there's a trade. I don't see anything, man. I mean, it's reversing off the bottom, but there's no bullish momentum. We're coming off of continuation shorts on the daily. The 12 generated a primary short signal here. And I mean, you can try and take the reversal trade back to the 55, but when we're breaking that daily 55 on major USDT pairs across the board, and I do not go long on pairs below when that happens. You got to be above the daily baseline now. And it looks like we're going to get a moving average cross under, a baseline cross under, which does not bode well. Blizzard. It's B, L. Why did I think it was BLZRD? Sorry, man. Nothing matches the conquesting of the Americas of America's founding fathers, though, the ravage of the indigenous people. I disagree with you, man. Like, there have been so many ravages across history. Like, are you really going to compare, like, again, we get into the, like, who's worse comparison, dude? What about Saddam and his attacks against the Kurdish people, gassing them and killing them and murdering them? What about the communists over in the Soviet Union during the USSR, killing literally millions of people in the gulags, right? Literally millions of people. How are we going to compare America to Nazi Germany during the Holocaust, right? Millions and millions and millions of Jews, or well, I don't know if that's accurate, but a lot of people died over there. Right? A lot of Jews were killed, persecuted for their very religion. I mean, it just gets into like, oh, what atrocity is the worst? Just get that fucking nonsense out of here, dude. You're wrong. Burning Legion says, I make 12K a month. What? Well, if you put away 6K into investments a month, then you'll be able to retire in 10 years. Priz Ventures, man, thanks so much for following us over there on Twitch, my good friend. What's the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum? They're two different cryptocurrencies, my good man. Oh, Midwest, there's no way I can get to that, brother. David Gelfin, what's going on, brother? Okay, so looking at ATVI here on the fucking daily, brother. It's a no trade zone, man. Dip down to the daily 55. Again, that daily 55 always acting as a strong point of support, man. It's just, it's a certain strategy to take reversal trades off of there. We are breaking back above the baseline after a nice gap to the upside. There's just not enough momentum there to really justify a long trade here for me, man. We're close, man. Minx is about to cross to the upside. Now, if we look at CCI gave us the go ahead on this candle, man. CCI told us to go ahead and go long, but we were not above the baseline, meaning you could go long on today's candle or try to set some bids down here right at the daily baseline. But I don't know, man. This one's rough, dude. It looks good. You're in a nice bullish trend. We had that nice moving average. We had that nice baseline cross under right here, and then dip down right to the daily baseline, set you up for this beautiful movement. We had that fake out down to the daily 55, popped back up. I want to see some nice bullish momentum and us hold this level. That would make me feel a little bit more confident to go long on ATYI. Overall, I mean, if we zoom out, just big period of consolidation. So we're looking for a big breakout, man. Big breakout of this consolidation period. That's what we're looking for. And, just that we need some volume, man. Look at this volume. You can see the volume coming in here, which signifies the bottom. And then we're just trending, we're consolidating, we're accumulating. We need to see some big volume spikes to initiate a bullish trend to the upside, man. So I'd be cautious, man. This is one to keep your eye on, but I don't see a trade here today right now. Going down to the 4 hour. Again, here's a long signal, but WADA's telling you no, man. WADA's telling you no. WADA told you yes here, and that was the right time to take the long. But WADA is telling you no right here, man. Coming off of this bearish momentum, need to build the bullish momentum back up. And CCI is giving you a little bit of a fake out here on the 4 hour too. I don't really see a good trade here, man. LMNT on the weekly. Let's check it out, man. This is a good performing asset, man. Again, right here, you get that weekly baseline crossover, which I always look at as a really strong bullish fundamental, especially on the weekly. That's when I called the bull market in Bitcoin. Coming off of a continuation long a couple weeks ago, the volume looks good. I don't see a big volume spike, even though people are going to be like, it's a fucking hammer. It's going to fucking pull down. It's a doji. It's a gravestone. It's a bullish stock, man. This might not be the exact right time to buy, but I'd definitely be prepared unless we get an RV. You know what? Look, on the weekly, RVGI did cross under right here, meaning the vigor is playing out. That's usually my exit signal. So let's go to the daily. I think the daily is in not a bad spot. The daily's not in a bad spot, man. We're coming off this continuation long right here. Great, not the best trade, but a good trade, generated some profit. Again, we've got amazing trades the entire way up, right? Continuation long on that gap. If you held, things were good. Again, when we're in a nice bullish trend, we're going to get continuation longs from Minx the entire way up, and those are great trades until the one that's not, and then we typically stay out of the trend. But you're coming right back down to the daily baseline, coming and sitting at 365.04, so maybe set some bids there. Maybe set some down here at the tertiary just in case price wicks 361.33. But if we close below this level, you're out of the trade, man. And, but RVGI is not crossed under. RVGI is not crossed under. And CCI is above the zero line. This looks good, man. This looks good. And you're in a good spot. You're in a good R to R. Because if we close below the daily baseline, then you're out of the trade. But if we wick down to the tertiary, then you got a good spot, man. So if you were going to take a reversal baseline bounce, I'd set some bids at 36.04 and 361.33 and trade safe. BlizzCon is going to make ATVI soar. Hell yeah, man. Carter Newton says, common white men deflection. Africans sold Africans. Right. You mean historical truth? I'm not trying to make any or raise any racial tensions. You will not find somebody who is less racist than me. I judge people based on the value of their character. I do not judge people based on their skin color. But what you just said was dumb, dude. Like, actually make a point to invalidate his argument. Don't just say nonsense. Like, oh, that doesn't matter because you're white. Really? That, like, literally, that's what you said. Like, oh, what you just said, which was historical fact, is invalid because you're a white man. Okay, no, that's not an argument. That is stupid. That is deflection. That is using race as a club when race shouldn't matter. Logic and argumentation should matter. So make a point to invalidate him or shut the fuck up. Sorry, a little fucking jazzed up today, man. Truth is all humans just suck. Yeah, man, I feel you, dude. Let's try to get back to crypto. All right, Burning Legions, man. Tossing bands, brother. Thank you so much, my good man. Throwing the $10 down. He says, remember, bro, conspiracies are real. Real, I feel it, man. Let's get Justin off the air before I get more controversial and lose more followers. But guys, thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the love. Let's switch over here. I apologize that I could not look at everything today. Got the theme music kicking on right now. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Of course, I've been Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. I want you guys to trade safely. If you guys would like to join us in the group and find a personal mentor to help you along in this journey that we call trading crypto, whether you want a personal life coach for investing, whether you want a personal life coach for success, that is what we do. We will train you on our proprietary strategies. We will give you the tools to teach you the rules to find success in the market the same way that we do. If that interests you, you can find all the information at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. That's premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. And if you're not able to catch the live show all the time and you would like to listen to us and not have that feeling in your gut of, man, I didn't get to watch Breaking Bitcoin today, head over to breakingbitcoin.money and hook us up on your favorite podcast catcher of choice. We're on iTunes, Google Play Music, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, and a whole bunch more, guys. If you go over to iTunes, highly appreciate a 5-star review. The podcast is called Breaking Bitcoin. You can download it, add it to your podcast catcher of choice with the RSS feed. And again, never miss a moment of the show. If you have any comments, questions, sarcastic remarks, opinions, and or death threats, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll try my best to get back to you within 48 hours. Make sure to join us in the Discord at discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. And until tomorrow, guys, trade safely.